Go check out Delano3 Creations on Etsy for inspirational apparel and accessories. It's designed, produced, and distributed by a father-daughter duo from right here in the central Pennsylvania area. If you have a design in need for a family reunion, church event, birthday, or just because, consult with Delano3 Creations on Etsy for more information. Go on YouTube and hit that like and subscribe button. It's only $3.99.
$3.99? Are you only on YouTube?
Nope.
Spotify?
Absolutely.
Google Podcasts?
Correct.
Anchor?
Uh-huh.
So you're on many platforms.
Correct.
So how do we find you?
All you have to do is search
The
SkyBoxx.
Welcome to the SkyBoxx.
It's me, Michael C. The source of life over the mic. My guest and I will share our stories and our experiences. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, hit me up at number one, SkyBoxx at gmail.com. If you're on your favorite podcast app or YouTube, all you have to do is search the SkyBoxx. And if you're on YouTube, click that like and subscribe button. It's only $3.99. If you're on IG, all you have to do is search at SkyBoxxPod. And if you're on Facebook, all you have to do is search me, Michael C. or Michael Curtis, Micheal Curtis. On the show today, we have the first military family. I got the Cobbs. Sit back and relax. I'm going to tell you right now, you feel like you're ready to go to war? You're going to go to war with the big dog. You already know who it is. Just sit back and just pop that popcorn, have that cold beverage, and salute whoever. All I have to say is, we're back! We're back! You already know who it is. Michael C., the source of life, over the mic. Check it out, y'all. Check this out. When you want to sit back and we're looking at the 4th of July, you want to know why you're having all this freedom. You can do this, you can do that. Besides getting that vaccination, you know what I'm saying? Keep masking up if you're not vaccinated. Either way, back to what I was saying. You sit back, you think of all the freedom that you have. If it wasn't for our soldiers, this wouldn't be going down. So what I'm going to do, instead of bringing just a soldier, I'm bringing my soldiers. The best soldiers I've ever met. The Cobbs. How are y'all doing today, y'all?
Sounds good.
Good, how are you?
Good.
You already know what it is, man. Let's just get right into it. We're going to talk military. Let's go. Let me ask you this. Number one question. Did you guys believe in the military? How long have you guys been married?
You want me to? I know.
That's kind of interesting because usually it's the man that doesn't know.
I do
All right,
know.
what is
We've
it?
been married 17 years. See what I'm saying? You got a different number?
That like
Okay,
But
like,
I'm just saying, it took a long time to figure it out.
yeah, right. That laugh and then everything was going through her head.
She's
I
counting,
get it.
right?
I get it. Yup. She
No.
said I didn't want to say 15.
You know,
Got that last year.
most of the time it's the man who don't know.
Yeah, usually it's us that don't remember that.
Right.
Isn't that so?
She was waiting for me to answer.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Let's get right into it. How did you get to know? What made you?
me? Well, I was kind of threatening it. You know, my mom handed me one day was like, "You're working a dead end job. I'm taking you to the recruiter's office. You can go in the Air Force." Well, he wanted me to go in the Air Force, but I chose the Army because, you know, everybody in my family's Army, so I wanted to be like everybody in my family. Although I really should have been in the Air Force. But the rest is history. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't do anything over.
Big fella?
Mine's a little different. I mean, we're talking a little bit different generations, but my choices were based on family. I was in college and I had a child out of wedlock. And the choices were be there for your job, your family, or go to school. And at that time, there was no way I could do both. So I chose family.
I know that's right. That's how you gotta do it. Where were you guys stationed?
I'll go first. I went to basic training in Port Hill, Oklahoma. I went to AIT, Advanced Individual Training in San Antonio. I left San Antonio, was stationed at Walter Reed for about 4 years. I met my husband. Left San Antonio, well, Walter Reed, and I went to Korea. And then Fort Leonard Wood, and then I got out.
Me asking you that this question. It's gonna be plenty.
I'll go short. I'm not gonna make it long. But
Go
you're
ahead.
right. I've been a lot of places, so it would take a long time to go through every spot. My career started in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. You know, that's where it was really like the bulk of where there in Fort Benning is where the bulk of everybody goes to. And I went from Jackson to Fort Bend Harris, Indiana. Professional, as I take down personal management. And you would think that means being behind the desk all the time, but for men, that's being behind the desk, taking care of all those administrative duties, but with field artillery, infantry, cavalry, it doesn't matter. You know, if you was a man, you was going to be with a combat unit,
Right.
and you was going to do those things for that combat unit. But the first thing, you know, the military always teaches you is to be an infantryman first.
Right.
So that you can always fit anywhere, particularly in those situations and stuff. So I've been all over. I can, you know,
Yeah, I know you can do it all day.
I can go all day. I've been quite a few places.
How long have you guys served for?
I did 8 years.
I did 21.
And that's why, and that right there. You would have went down forever. I'd been like, all right, time to wrap it up, man. When did you feel that, oh shit, I'm in the military moment? Go on YouTube and hit that like and subscribe button. It's only $3.99.
$3.99. Are you only on YouTube?
Nope.
Spotify?
Absolutely.
Google Podcasts?
Correct.
Anchor?
Uh-huh.
So you're on many platforms.
Correct.
So how do we find you?
All you have to do is search
The
SkyBoxx.
You want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I'm over here like, I would say, you know, like the commercial. We do more before 6 a.m. than anyone else. That's when it got real. Is honestly more before 6 a.m. before most people do in 24 hours. So.
Yeah, mine's a little different. You know, I think the you know, what the hell moment was when I got off what we call a cattle truck, and that's the truck that they take you from the MEPS to your training point. And you got these drill sergeants that you only see on TV that are screaming at you, you know, yelling at you, bumping their hat up against your head, telling you to get up and move faster. You know?
Can't do that. No, can't do that. You doing all that yelling, screaming, spit, flying now. Good. Especially with COVID going, you could not do all that with COVID. All that. No.
But it's a different army now, though. I mean,
Yeah.
different army, different military. You know, and all military service members are different now. You know, I don't know if that's good or bad. You know, yet to be seen. You know, but it seems like we've gotten stronger in some points, but in some points it seems like you kind of, and maybe just me being old school, you know, I think you have to have that discipline about yourself. You have to have that, you know, I'm going to deal with whatever, find out what my stress points are so that you can handle those situations that we know we run into now with PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome and stuff that you hear about all the time. You know, that has been existing forever. You know, but the whole idea of being under pressure, under stress, and find out where that's at, so you're able to cope with that better, and you know, people can help you in those situations when you can't cope.
Right, I know that's right. I know. Let me ask you this: describe how it was to be a woman in the military.
It's a little bit more work because we got to prove ourselves. Because you know, man, like however, women always have to do just a little bit more to prove that we can do it just as well as you guys. It was always a struggle, but you gotta put your imprint.
That was like one of your biggest obstacles.
Yeah, trying to prove myself as a female because at that time we were kind of fresh into the just psych on ourselves for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of new to everybody. So we were trying to all fit in.
As a black man, same question. Describe how it felt as a black man in the military.
You know, initially, you know, I guess the key is racism an issue. Yeah, racism is an issue.
Pretty much.
Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? For black men, the opportunities are greater there because the playing field is different. You know, in the military, the key things that they focus on eliminating is racism. You know, now gender, you know, inequality. They're trying to fix that. You know, and they've gotten better at those things, and it still exists. You know, anything like in anything, it still exists. But in the military, because it's a confined area, you know, it's easier to focus in on those things and constantly, you know, beat that nail in the head with the hammer until you get somewhere.
Yeah, right.
You know, where outside, you know, as a citizen, you know, it all depends on who you're with, who you're dealing with. You know,
Right.
You know?
A lot of distractions out there.
Right.
Right. I look at that, and then you're saying between two things that you would look at would pretty much, you wouldn't think racism would too much exist would be the military and sports because there is a task.
Right.
We all have a goal. We want to win a championship. We want to be able to, whatever our mission is, we want to complete that mission.
Right.
So it's like you would think that, I don't care if you're pink, green, yellow, purple, you protect me, I protect you.
Right. It's a team effort.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, that's what destroys, you know, racism and those things because, you know, when you're out there and your life is on the line, and that to most of us is, you know, one of the most important things is, you know, survival, you know, and when your life is on the line and that guy next to you may be black, Puerto Rican, white, whatever, and your culture, where you were raised at, you know, taught you differently, you know, said, hey, black people are this, or black people aren't that, or white people are this, and white people are that, and so forth and so on. You know, when you're out there, as we say, you know, fighting that fight, you know, you don't see that.
Right.
Everybody bleeds red. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Everybody bleeds red, and you realize that in that moment.
I agree. I agree with that 100% there. What'd you learn about yourself in the military? Joy, Queen.
Well, I learned that I can get the job done. My determination really kicked in the military. Like, if you know me, you know when I'm focused on something, I'm focused. And I'm pretty sure there's still just enough of me to stay focused. Like this, you learn.
Yeah, you want to know. What about you, fella?
I think the cause, you know, one of the things that really, you know, I learned and brought back with me was what this is all about. The picture gets bigger, you know, when you're out there and you're doing those things and you find out why it's important to represent your country, why we have an army, you know, you even respect the things like what cops do and what, you know, firemen do that we sometimes forget because we say, oh, someone's doing it, you know. But I think that's one of the things that happens to the military, you know, with citizens. They kind of look at us and say, oh, well, that's, you know, we got to have that. But they don't know the sacrifice, you know. And that is a big gap sometimes. It can hurt you a whole lot. But when I was out there, I learned, you know, why I'm fighting that fight. You know, why when they say, you know, Russia's bad, why is Russia bad? Is it just because the news said it? Or is it something that you actually see? You know, in China, you know, Korea, I can go on and on with places, you know, and you actually see those things, you know, and you be like, whoa, you know, I didn't know it was like this. And you're thinking, you know, freedom ain't free.
It sure ain't.
You know what I mean?
Sure ain't.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, we're going to look at, you guys are on both sides. You've been a citizen, you've been in the military. As an American citizen, what do you think people overlook veterans? Why do you think they overlook veterans so much? Or as much, let's say that. Why do you think they?
Okay. It's kind of like being in a situation or hearing about a situation that you've never been in You know, you don't really get it till it happens. It's almost like the pandemic. You know, we got over 500,000 plus deaths, you know, and you still can't get everybody on the same sheet of music. Something as simple as wearing a mask when we didn't have a vaccine, you would think because you have we've lost more people than we have in wars. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, when the Twin Towers went down, we lost, what, 3,000 plus? And we went to war behind that situation.
Right.
We just lost 500,000 people, and we can't get behind fighting this. You know, a lot of times that happens because it's not close. It's not close to home. You know, you see things, you hear things, but until it's close to home, it doesn't mean anything.
I agree with that 110% because that's how I look. And I'm gonna say personally, me, that's how I look at COVID. COVID hit. I remember the first time I seen when it really started. I was at school, and I saw this counselor, a whole bunch of kids trying to hug her, and she was a hugger. But she all of a sudden, why is she not like that? So as I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, this might be real. And I remember a friend of mine literally looking at me. We chilled one day, said, you know, this would be the last time you and I are going to chill for a very long time. And I'm still looking at him like, 2 weeks later, they shut down everything, and I'm like, oh, this is real. But to me, COVID was all right for me. I got to just sit back and just chill. Like, that's what I was good with that. I was in the house working. Like, I'm good with that. Like, it didn't affect me. I go to the bar. I don't go to the bar. I can go get a bottle, call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing stuff like that. It didn't affect my everyday life like that. Except when I drove down that highway and seen absolutely no cars, I was freaking out. Because I didn't know it was like, someone pulled me over. And I said, hold on. If they pull me over, are they really going to tell me to put down my window? No. So, you know what, I'm all right. So, but it was like one of those like Resident Evil moments. Going from East Shore to West Shore, like, oh my God. I saw like 3 cars the whole time. And I mean, I was moving when I saw that. I put that joint about $1 down there. Like, yo, let's see if we can really test this. Hey,
that's really it. I mean, you know, until you're in that moment, until you've gone through it, you know, you can't relate to it. You know, you see it, you hear it, but you can't relate to it till you do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's such a gasp, you know. And even like speaking of not going back to the pandemic, but you know, I was feeling the same way when in March, you know, that year when it was happening and stuff. I was like, oh, this is, you know, this should be a big thing, you know, because our leadership was saying it was nothing. So I figured it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have leaders for, to tell you, you know, what to be prepared for.
Right.
You know, and I assumed it was nothing. And then by April, May, you know, the message changed, you know, because the facts changed.
Right.
You know, what we thought was just some little something turned out to be a lot of something, and mainly because now, like in New York, I remember when it first hit New York, you know, I was like, what's going on in New York? I'm thinking it's just in New York, you know. We're in Pennsylvania, it's not that far from here.
Shout outs to my girl from Queens, you already know what it is.
Vaccinate, mask, you know, protect them.
Them.
Look past you for one moment. Look past you. It ain't worth arguing about. But, you know, not get away from the subject you brought up, is that sense is the same way with the military, you know, because the military, you're not in Russia. You're not going to Korea. You're not going to Africa. We don't have the same situation Africa has where you hear about they cutting each other up and killing each other, you know, taking people out their homes and killing. That don't happen in America. You know what I'm saying? The reason it don't happen in America is because we have a military that don't let that happen in America. You know, the stories you hear about Russia where one dictator rules all, and if you don't like it, he kills you or puts you in prison for the rest of your life. The reason that don't happen in America is because we have a military that won't let it happen in America. You know what I'm saying? That's the divide that you lose from the citizens to the military, because in their mind, and I hate to say, you know, people get entitled, but it does. You know, it's just like anything else. You get so used to it and so accustomed to it, you think it just happens. As long as it's happening, it's good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when it stops happening, you're like, hey.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hold on.
Wait, where the military at? You know, they're supposed to be doing this, you know, and then, you know, we got to take care of them so they can do their job, because now you're seeing it hit home. You know what I'm saying? We've been fortunate. The only time, think about this, you all, the only time that we can even recall us in our lifetime, not our parents' lifetime, but the only time that we can recall even dealing with something coming here is 9/11. Look at Iraq, Iran,
Israel,
Gaza, Korea,
that's crazy.
China. They're constantly at war, at their door. They got bombs blowing up, people dying every moment. You know what I'm saying? We don't see it because it's not here. And we get comfortable. The only reason 9/11 happened, we got comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We forgot.
We must have forgot.
you know, and people see that. So yeah, that divide is there, and that's the thing that, you know, the civilians or citizens don't see, is what that military purpose is and what it provides. I'm not saying all, but a great majority to some extent. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the military people feel that. They feel that. You know, some of them still go out and fight a good fight because they know better. They've seen what you haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? The same reason we're trying to fly into space and stuff, and we're concerned about all of a sudden aliens and stuff.
Space war.
Well, stuff that you ain't even heard about before. You know, now they're saying, well, yeah, we do got some, you know, alien sites, but they've had them all the time. But now it's like, well, let's tell people, because now it's becoming a point where we're seeing it too often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you see it, like, even I've watched GMA a couple times. I've seen they're talking about that in the world.
Right. I mean,
a couple pilots have seen it.
Watch how your government moves. If even with, you know, the former President Trump, you know, if we didn't have something to worry about, then why are we creating a space force for something that don't exist? You know what I'm saying? Just do the math.
Right.
You know, it adds up. But like I said, not to steer away from what we're talking about. Yeah, there's a divide there, and it's always going to be that divide, because until it hits home, you don't really see it. And our intent, you know, as military service member, veterans, and everybody that served in some form or fashion for the military or the government, supporting the military, and it don't have to be a soldier or a Marine. It can be a civilian in support. You know, they know why.
Right.
They do what they do. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just that we got to remember, when we give them that extra and people say, well, you should have more rights. Well, wait a minute, we put more on the line than you do. You know what I'm saying? So all we're not asking you to treat us completely different, but we want you to fill that gap. That's for that sacrifice.
Appreciate what we did.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. Fill that gap for that sacrifice that we can't get back. If a person loses an arm, you can't give that back. You know what I'm saying? A leg, eye, you can't give that back. So give us some support for that. Don't be mad. Don't let Congress, you know, or a president sit up there and play with things that take care of those people, because those people, lives have been given. You know, we got to remember that. You can't give that back to them. In no form. If they got kids, you're not going to go help raise their children. You know, that you can't give it back.
I got 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to be out of here. All right. Let's start with you, Queen. If you had the power to change anything in the military, what would it be?
I'm stumped. And you know, normally I don't get stumped.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like,
Ain't that the truth?
so, let me see. What would I change in the military? To equal out the playing field, I guess, for men and women more.
Okay.
That's all I got for the moment. And I'm stumped.
Thank God they're working on that too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are women out there in special forces now. There are women out there in infantry. Women out there fighting that fight. Right?
Psych! You know what I'm saying?
You got them MMA women to put you down.
What?
You know,
Put you in that chokehold, Yeah, man. I love
Tap
it.
out.
Real quick.
But listen, you
Night
know.
night. You feel me? Everybody gotta go night night.
I mean, but we still got a long way to go. Don't get it
Right.
twisted, because we still have the old heads and some young heads that just don't respect women. They don't think women have a right. I don't know how you get there, because you came from a woman.
It's like the majority.
So-
Like, I think that mindset at this point is like, it's like, really? Did you really think like that?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's looking down on you for thinking like that at this point.
Yeah.
Like, people got that old mindset.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, you already know. I got what we like to call the project, y'all. What I'm gonna do? Okay, shuffle it. All right. Well, I'm about to hold that. Pick a card, and you're gonna have a question. And that question, you want to answer if you can. If not, you pick another card.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right hand.
Let me see it.
I don't want to.
What is the question?
Let me stop now.
You should easily answer
No.
That's what I say. Like, you know, I could answer that
It'll
question.
go against everything we got going on here. The flow.
Right, all right.
I don't want to mess up the flow.
that. Okay.
Cobb, we're gonna go with Cobb first, since he gave me his. Cobb,
Mhm.
what are you currently curious about?
I'm gonna answer that question, but I got out of box.
Go get it. I want to hear this one. I like that.
You forgot to ask me about
Me too.
what I would change.
What? Yes, my fault about that. What would you change? What would you change?
I would change the way the service to the country is. I mean, I think in some countries overseas, it is a requirement to serve in some form or fashion in the military, military services, in
Right.
some form or fashion. I think that should stand here also. I mean, and that's a big jump, because people like to have their choices to choose not to or to do. But I think if you really want to close that gap, and I'm not saying you have to go out and be in the Army or the Navy or the Marines. I'm saying you can be government service in support of that, right? I think that every person at the age of 18 should give you 1 year back to the government. How else can you respect it?
So you can respect what the military is.
In some form of support. Can you imagine how much you can learn in that 1 year? I don't care how much schooling you got.
But let me ask, I'm gonna go.
Definitely learn a
Me at 40 years old, I'm gonna look from 40 and go all the way back to 18.
Mhm.
There's one time I wanted to go to that military. You understand me? I was an athletic dude, but I like if someone was like, "Yo, I'll break your knees if you want to go to the military." I'm like, "Yo, break them, break them."
I hear
You
you.
were upset
But-
when I said I was going, right?
but-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would not go to the military.
But what I'm
Like
saying-
that, but I respect.
This is what I'm-
I totally respect.
This is what
people
I'm
going
saying.
to
I'm
the
not
military.
saying directly go to the military. I said serve the government, the military government, in support of the military in some form or fashion. Government service, military as far as actually going into the military, some form of service. 1 year. We're talking 1 year at a time. Just the same time you spend 4 years in college. And I'm gonna tell you
So
why.
you say it's going 4 years. You'll say take 3 years and then take out.
No, I say take 1 and then take 4. That's 5 years of your life.
Right.
1 year between 18 and 19 that you literally don't do anything anyway but party most of the time. And that's cool.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Right.
what I'm supposed to do.
Right. But if you
Right,
spend
right.
you spend that 1 year just getting a picture of what you don't understand, right? What you don't respect.
What-
Why your country is important.
I agree.
What's different about your country. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The things that we are complaining about happening right now, right? Racism, the attack on, the government itself on January 6th, those things that we're talking about are just, off the chart, and we don't understand why.
You're saying we could understand it.
if you know what democracy is about, don't you think you would respect it more? If you know what the price of keeping democracy was about, wouldn't you respect it more? I mean, the whole idea of them people going up there is because they didn't understand what democracy represented.
Okay, because all right, so
You see,
now you say it's a little different. All right,
I'm not
I'll
taking
take back my comment for that because now it's like to the point where how I'm looking at it is like it goes back in the day, like when you get your little physical and stuff. Like, ooh, I know where I'm gonna put you on the right front line.
Right.
Nice. That's how I would look at myself. Like I would be that guy who's like, you're on the front line, and me, I don't want to be on that front line. I want to be far back. Why?
Why?
I don't want to get shot at. I'm not that dude.
Who do?
Like, I don't want. I don't want to. I'd rather be the dude like, okay, we got to go this way, not that way. But I'm looking at the screen.
Right.
I'm not the dude that's like with all the military. Like how I want to be how the dudes were sitting in that war room when they killed Osama bin Laden.
Listen.
That's the dude I want to be.
You don't want to do the work.
Hey,
I'm not saying I don't want to do the work, because I am doing the work by telling you this is what you need to do.
but here,
You don't want to get dirty.
here, it sounds.
I
good.
do want to get dirty, but again, I don't want to be the dude that does.
So let me
just
paint a picture in your head, right? So I don't like when I say terrorists, I don't mean the Arabs or
I get it.
anything like that.
Bad guys, we'll call them.
Right, just say bad guys. So bad guy, and Lord forbid any of this happens. Bad guy comes in, attacks your family, anybody in your family. I'm just saying, someone close to you. I'm talking about immediate wife, child, mom, sisters, anybody immediate, and they lose their life because this terrorist entity. No, it ain't. It just hasn't happened to you.
No, but I'm saying with your scenario, that makes it a whole different mindset. Like, you're saying in a sense of you're now putting me in a sense of revenge. I gotta get back. But what we're talking about at first was, I need you to sign up.
Right.
I'm not signing up. Also, just because if it's someone killed one of my,
but okay,
daggone right, I'm ready to do it. I'll fight I'll fight the fight. Then.
So then, okay, I'm talking the same scenario. You're just not seeing it the same way.
All right.
So let me show you
Go
how.
ahead. Go ahead.
When 9/11 happened, right? Did that happen because we had enough people, or we didn't have enough people paying attention? We didn't have enough people paying attention, right? We didn't have the manpower up front because there was a lot of people who felt the same way you do. I want to be the brain pot versus the action pot. We didn't have enough action. We had more brains. Then after 9/11 happened,
everybody want to be in action.
So we got more action,
Right.
and we got less brains, right?
Okay.
You see where I'm going? Okay.
But you have to invoke that to be able for
What
that
invoked
to
it?
go in.
What invoked it?
We're going back to 9/11 or the scenario?
Not the scenario we just talking about.
What invoked it? The killing of my family members.
Which is called revenge. What you just said, right? But that's what.
And that's what 9/11 was. They wanted to.
Right. So the same revenge that I'm talking about is the same revenge that came from 9/11. We wanted revenge. Right. The only thing is, we were not proactive. We were reactive.
Our family get down. We talk about a lot of things, and again, we can talk about this all day. But I just want to thank you guys for coming on here. God, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I finally got y'all on here. Finally got y'all on here. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm Michael C., the source of life, over the mic. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, hit me up at number one, SkyBoxx at gmail.com. If you're on your favorite podcast or YouTube, all you have to do is search the SkyBoxx. And if you're on YouTube, click that like and subscribe button. It's only $3.99. If you're on IG, all you have to do is search SkyBoxx Pod. And if you're on Facebook, all you have to do is search me, Michael C. or Michael Curtis, Micheal Curtis. And again, I'm Michael C., source of light, over the mic, and this is the SkyBoxx. And remember, be good to yourself, y'all. Go to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. It's only $3.99. $3.99? Are we only on YouTube? Nope. Are we on Google? Yep. How about Anchor? Yep. Are we on Spotify? Yep. How can they find us? Search the SkyBoxx.